An almighty war of words has broken out between Elon Musk and the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, after Musk claimed on Monday that the violent riots sweeping the UK meant that, quote, civil war is inevitable. So the Prime Minister slammed the comments, claiming there was no justification for it. But the billionaire owner of X, formerly Twitter, hasn't backed down, has he? After hundreds of Muslim men violently attacked a pub and an individual man in Birmingham last night, Musk today took to the social media platform to ask the Prime Minister, why aren't all communities protected in Britain? He went on to brand Starmer two-tier king.
Remember when Starmer believed that keeping quiet was a show of strength? Reality check. Silence only works when you're not being publicly shredded by Elon Musk on live TV, floundering like a fish out of water at a tech mogul's roast. Because nothing signals commanding leadership quite like getting called out by someone who treats conventions and deadlines the same way, optional.
Elon Musk gone, X turned off, and freedom of speech stamped out. Starmer himself has said he's going to look at social media laws in the wake of the riots and even revisit the Online Safety Act. And right on cue, of course, the Westminster elite are now circling. Guardian columnists got their knickers in a twist, saying Musk should be on trial in the UK for inciting the riots. And Keir Starmer's champagne socialist biographer, Tom Baldwin, called for regulation of social media platforms, even saying free speech was not absolute. Make no mistake, the minority racist idiots who caused the worst of these riots have opened the floodgates for a power grab of our civil liberties under this Labour government. And it's a crying shame that it's a US-based South African who's the only one with the balls to stick up for British.
Now, let's dive into Elon Musk, the guy who once dared Vladimir Putin to a Twitter cage match and bounces through ideas like a hyperactive squirrel on espresso, decided, out of sheer mischief or boredom, to deliver a live TV monologue that hit Starmer like a precision-guided wrecking ball. Was he even in the same room? Nope. Did that stop Elon from turning him into intellectual roadkill on national television? Absolutely not.
Meanwhile, Danica, the boss of X or Twitter, Elon Musk, is in a brawl with Britain's Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer. I must say, is acting like a weak man trying to be strong during this crisis. Starmer tweeted, "We will not tolerate attacks on mosques or on Muslim communities," to which Musk quite reasonably replied, "Shouldn't you be concerned about attacks on all communities?" Isn't Musk right? Hasn't he put a finger on something that's angering the anti-immigration riders who talk about two-tier police?
While Starmer was likely off meticulously alphabetizing party pamphlets or practicing how to say working people without sounding like a broken robot, Musk went full scorched earth. He ripped through politics, careened into Starmer's economic plans like a self-driving Tesla headed straight for disaster, and circled back to casually suggest that Starmer's entire leadership operates like a glitchy, half-baked app.
You belong to a party that sent activists to America to actively plot to, and I quote, kill Elon Musk's Twitter. Labour activists in a centre for countering digital hate that was set up by a certain Morgan McSweeney, happens to be Keir Starmer's chief of staff. I wonder why Elon Musk has suddenly got a really strong interest in Keir Starmer and the Labour Party. Because let's be honest, Barry, all of those statements that Labour MPs made about Donald Trump, all of those bizarre statements they made about Elon Musk, guess what? These guys don't really like that. They don't like being abused. They don't like being insulted. So they're going to call you out when you fail, like when you fail with these white working class girls.
The truth is, Starmer leads like he's terrified of a Yelp review. His policies come off less like bold strategy and more like a dusty 90s PowerPoint. Elon, by contrast, treats subtlety the way he treats unions, non-existent. Seeing Musk unleash on Starmer was like watching a flamethrower demolish a soggy napkin.
Any reaction, Prime Minister, to a post by Elon Musk this morning suggesting that America should liberate Britain from a tyrannical government?
Let me deal with the health crunch because it's really important. Look, in relation to that, I don't really have any comments on the particular comment that was made this morning by Musk.
When it comes to leadership, Starmer radiates all the charisma of a British filing cabinet. He can talk for 20 minutes and say less than a celebrity acceptance speech. Meanwhile, Elon is flipping mental somersaults on live international TV, half the time unsure which stage he's on, yet landing more blows than the entire opposition at PMQs. When Musk tore into Starmer's economic plans, he called them exactly what they are, confusing, flimsy, and about as inspiring as a stale slice of toast. Starmer's whole economic philosophy seems to hinge on promising the bare minimum, smiling nervously, and praying no one asks for details, like he turned, "Don't rock the boat" into a full-time persona. Musk just pointed, laughed, and watched like someone observing a goat attempt calculus.
In Britain, I kid you not, how can this be real? They are releasing convicted from prison in order to put people in prison for Facebook posts.
To be fair, those are
thing.
posts that criticize the government, so they have a good reason.
They would actually, some of these posts that these ones I've seen, didn't actually criticize the government. Well, they were seen as sort of as hate speech.
Because they noticed the society getting crappier and crappier with every year.
There were migrant gangs in England that would run around and prey on young girls. Some people found that objectionable. They were upset about that. And so they complained about it online and were sent to prison. That's all.
Let's be honest, Starmer's boldest economic move so far has been timidly hinting we might eventually glance at some vaguely budget-related issue. And energy policy. He wants a green future, but like someone scared of upsetting a teapot, making vague pledges about clean energy, muttering long-term strategy, and scurrying off like he's late for a lukewarm tofu dinner. Meanwhile, Musk is launching solar-powered rockets, reinventing energy grids, and putting satellites in orbit just because his breakfast got cold. Now picture these worlds colliding on live TV, one talking about hydrogen buses like it's 2004, trying to impress a panel of grim-faced librarians, the other casually turning Mars into a thought experiment while roasting Starmer's climate agenda like a high school essay gone wrong.
I think the number of people that have been arrested for just social media posts is bananas. It's in the thousands.
Yes, several thousand people have been given prison sentences in the UK for social media posts where there was no explicit link to actual violence, but they just said it encouraged violence. We're like, well, did anyone actually do anything as a result of that media post? Well, no. But they just and then they have a prison overcrowding situation in the UK, so they're quite literally releasing convicted people and putting people in jail for faith.
And then there's Starmer's legendary talent for dodging commitment. If fence sitting were an Olympic sport, he wouldn't just win gold, he'd shatter records and form a committee to debate if it should really be bronze. Brexit. He's for it, against it, maybe a second referendum, then only if no one asks questions. Workers' rights. Sure, but only the convenient ones. Public ownership. A vaguely nostalgic, non-binding nod. Musk, by contrast, treats commitment like a sleep-deprived raccoon on a roller coaster, reckless, chaotic, impossible to ignore. He charges headfirst into every whim. You might not always agree, but at least he moves. Starmer. Still hovering at the theme park gates, clutching a risk assessment and polling focus groups on whether roller coasters are electorally safe.
Starmer's Labour has not only become a headache to the British people. Now, Elon Musk has targeted Labour since they recently announced the painful October budget. Elon Musk didn't like Labour's implementation of the inheritance tax on the UK family farms, and criticized Keir Starmer's Labour for making those changes. On X, formerly known as Twitter, Elon Musk wrote, "We should leave the farmers alone. We owe farmers immense gratitude for making the food on our table."
And let's not forget how Starmer, in all his beige-flavored centrism, somehow manages to alienate both left and right at once. He tells workers he's their champion, then vanishes the moment a union calls for action, ghosting like a string of unread notifications. It's not leadership, it's a carefully choreographed disappearing act. Musk didn't need a 40-page report to slice through it. He reduced it to a single wrecking ball moment, confused pandering in a Marks and Spencer suit, performing Shakespearean indecision on the Westminster stage. Starmer doesn't walk a line, he constructs a bureaucratic maze on it and promptly forgets where the exit is.
On Elon Musk, I do need to ask you this. He called your safeguarding minister, Jess Phillips, an evil witch, a genocide apologist who should be put in jail. Does that sort of abuse of a minister make you feel angry? And what is your response to that? Thank you.
On the question of Elon Musk, look, I I think most people are more interested in what's going to happen to the NHS, frankly, than what's happening on Twitter. But you asked me a really important question that's been in the news for the last few days. I am going to, with permission, just answer it quite fully.
Then there's Starmer's so-called vision, or rather, the remarkable absence of it. His foresight is like a fogged-up windshield in November, dull, blurry, slightly damp. He talks about progress, then proposes policies so uninspired they make beige feel revolutionary. Meanwhile, Elon is plotting Mars colonies and neural interfaces, insane, yes, but at least not boring. And Musk didn't stop at policy, he roasted Starmer's communication style too. Starmer gives speeches like he's apologizing for existing, and Musk's dry, cutting charm made it obvious. He has the stage presence of a malfunctioning GPS. Starmer consistently inspires no one. His addresses are the political equivalent of boiled cauliflower, technically nutritious, utterly joyless. Musk held that up to the light and asked the world, is this really the person you want steering the UK through an economic crisis?
Just held your second COBRA in 2 days. Is that a sign of how worried you are about the situation?
The COBRA meeting was to coordinate our response to the disorder, and I made it very clear on a number of occasions that those involved will feel the full force of the law. So we coordinated, we went through some of the numbers. Over 400 people now have been arrested, 100 have been charged, some in relation to online activity, and a number of them are already in.
Musk then wandered into the AI debate and somehow circled right back to roasting Starmer. Talking AI, he joked that if we ever programmed a machine to replicate human indecision, it would basically be Starmer, an algorithm of doubt in a perfectly sensible tie. And under real pressure, Starmer reacts like a printer jam, blinking lights, worrying noises, zero output. Musk, who thrives in chaos like a raccoon in a trash bin, made the contrast painfully clear. It was like comparing a soggy sponge to a flamethrower. Starmer's response: nothing. Classic move, deny, delay, then issue a lukewarm statement packed with words like complexities, framework, and broad consensus. He makes inaction look like strategy.
The owner of X, Elon Musk, has been tweeting over the past few days about your response to this crisis, about what's been going on. He claimed that civil war in the UK is inevitable. He has a powerful voice. A lot of people follow him on Twitter. Are you worried about his impact, or might he have a point about some of the things he's saying?
My focus is on ensuring that our communities are safe. That is my sole focus. And I think it's very important for us all to support the police in what they're doing.
It's almost poetic. The UK's opposition leader, reduced to a footnote in a billionaire's spontaneous rant, didn't lose a debate, he lost a monologue. He wasn't defeated in person, he was deleted in absentia. Musk made him look like background noise in a conversation he wasn't even invited to. The real kicker: when the most memorable thing about your leadership is how ruthlessly someone mocked it while you weren't there, you've got a problem. Starmer's cautious, bland approach can be dismantled in real time by a man who thinks X is a good name for a social media platform. Watching Elon roast him was like seeing a cyborg critique a toaster, one reckless, unpredictable, arrogant, the other quietly humming in a corner, hoping no one notices. In modern political theater, Starmer performs like an understudy who forgot his lines and wandered onto the wrong stage, while Musk barrels through like a rogue tech bro with a flamethrower, turning everything into a chaotic TED Talk. It was glorious, not because Musk is noble, but because someone finally asked the question we've all wanted to scream: does this guy actually do anything? Musk answered with a Tesla wrecking ball of chaotic brilliance. Cheers to Elon, the only man who can torch a political platform without policy, effort, or even showing up. Condolences to Starmer, the only politician ever publicly vaporized without attending the debate, overshadowed by a billionaire live tweeting from a private jet. Now that's a political legacy.